Hoyoverse is afraid of competition, and let me explain. Recently, if you guys have been paying attention to the news in the gacha gaming spectrum, uh, zenless Zone Zero contract has been leaked, a portion of it, and it basically states that you should only play this game and you can't cover other games that they will see as competition. And what they're specifically mentioning is Azure Premilia, and Withering Waves, the two main culprits. Now, recently, with the introduction of Withering Waves, we have realized that we are starting to get a little bit of stuff from Genshin Impact, but it's not really big changes that you can say, oh, this change is massive. And the reason for that is I think Genshin Impact developers, and singling them out separately, they know how badly they're treating their players and they want to keep that kind of way they're treating their players at that same level, and they don't want to give people much free stuff, so they're incentivized to spend more. And really and truly, the rewards compared to Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact is light and day. I have like four times the pull that I have on Honkai Star Rail than I have on Genshin Impact, and I spend about the same amount of money on both games. It's much harder to grind on Genshin Impact, and it's more of a pay to win kind of aspect. When Withering Waves come out, and if Withering Waves rewards are as good as Honkai Star Rail, it's going to leave Genshin Impact in the dirt. Get Honkai's Withering Waves is gonna have more in-game content, which means you have more things to do for hardcore players, which will take away the hardcore players from Genshin Impact. So Genshin Impact will be losing the hardcore players. That means that, and this is a big issue because when the hardcore players build up their accounts to very strong levels and they want to challenge themselves and realize that there's nothing in the game, they realize that there's a competitor next door that plays a similar kind of play style and is going to give them more in-game content. And Genshin Impact is in a worse state right now because they don't have one competitor really. They have two. Zero Familiar is going to cover a big aspect of the gaming scene, which many people won't talk about yet, and that is the Coomer base. Well, the um hinty, enthusiastic kind of the cultured people like me, you, and majority of the people watching this video will watch the video when. So Azura Familiar is gonna cover that aspect, and it's gonna cover how should I say it, uh more casual play style, and it's almost the same as that game that kind of copied Pokemon. So the problem with this is that this game is gonna blow up. Azure Familiar is going to blow up. Withern Wave is going to blow up, and Hoyoverse is trying their best to keep content creators from promoting the game so that it doesn't get as much traction as it would. The issue is the game's already out. There, the trailer for Azure Familiar, fantastic. The aspect of Withering Waves for hardcore players, amazing. And combat oriented players is gonna be amazing. So people are gonna like these two games. As Withering Waves is gonna beat Genshin Impact for the most part because it's gonna provide a lot of in-game content. It's going to listen to the audience with something that Genshin doesn't really do, and the fact that Withering Waves is gonna come in and do things that Genshin Impact was never doing for their players. They're more they're more interested in upgrading their Yu-Gi-Oh game inside the game that nobody plays rather than making end-game content for players to play. And it's going to kill them off massively. Many people think that Genshin Impact will be fine, but it's not the case. I believe that Genshin Impact is going to die very soon when it comes down to these games releasing. and they're trying to release Zenless Zone Zero as a compete with Withering Waves. It's not gonna work because the original audience that Zenless Zone Zero marketed itself towards, they kind of cut back on it. They nerfed Nicole Boobs, which made me don't want to play the game. I will not be playing the game because it shows me that they're willing to censor things that they were already promised to me, and I am not gonna do it with them. It is not worth it. The TV simulator is ridiculous. They should have scrapped it completely, but they cut it down. I respect them for listening to their audience, but it's not enough compared to what is coming out. And if I want to play a hack and smash, I'll just play Honkai Impact Third because Honkai Impact Third is much better than what Xenostone Zero is right now to this day, and will be. The fact that they go back on their promise as this being a PG-16 game is now dropped down to a PG-13 game to cater to a majority of the audience, well, the kids, made a lot of people that were interested in this game kind of like back up because apart from that, this game has nothing else going for it. This game is going to be dead within the first month. That's how bad I believe Zenless Zone Zero is. Zenless Zone Zero will flop, given the fact that yeah, it will flop. Withering Waves is going to take over. Ajira Familia is going to take over, and Genshin Impact is going to die, and Zenless Zone Zero is going to be up for a little bit and then die. The only game that's going to stand out, that's going to strive, is Honkai Star Rail, because Honkai Star Rail know how to treat their players. There are going to be a lot of changes in Genshin Impact moving forward from when Withering Waves was released and Azure Familia release. And Honkai Star Genshin Impact is trying their best not to make these changes. They know what they need to do. They very much know what they need to do, but they're trying to not do it so that they don't want to give people free rewards or anything like that. I can guarantee you this right now. Between the when Withering Waves released to the end of the year, there already have been a different banner, but the banner was a joke. There will be changes. There will be changes in the reward. I think rewards in Genshin Impact is gonna pump up. The daily commission is gonna be a lot more easier, and there will be talks about in-game content. Genshin Impact is going to change, and they're gonna have to change because after this, if there's not much story going on, nobody's gonna be playing Genshin Impact. They're gonna either be playing Honkai Star Rail because that is an amazing game. They're gonna be either playing Weather and Waves because that is another amazing game, and they're gonna be either playing Azure Premier, which is kind of like things that I am gonna be playing. And speaking of it, on my behalf, for me, I used to play Genshin Impact a lot, and from Honkai Star Rail release, I end up dropping Genshin Impact and playing Honkai Star Rail more because it kind of this is how bad it is. I have max leveled my Honkai Star Rail account to level 70. I have not maxed my Genshin Impact account all now. I have maxed my Royal Pass, Battle Pass in Honkai Star Rail multiple times, and I've never done that ever in Genshin Impact. The highest I ever went to is 30. That means that I'm playing Honkai Star Rail way more than I used to play Genshin Impact, which is insane. And that just shows that the content is much better in Honkai Star Rail. The writing is better because in Genshin Impact, many people here talk about it. When they go through dialogues, sometimes I'll end up falling asleep because they're just circling before they just get to the point and move on. To keep your audience active, you have to make sure that you're doing action. If you're stuck in a dialogue scene for 30 minutes, then you're gonna fall asleep, and that happens to me a lot playing Genshin Impact story. I think that's the reason why I still haven't finished most of the story yet, because I just can't stand playing it for like an hour or something like that, because I would just go into a cutscene and the cutscene would just last forever. You should not be doing that in the game. You should be keeping things summarized and putting the point across. As long as the point go across, you can move on, you can battle, and get stuff. And they should focus on battle orientated endgame and content for players to play to use their players that they purchase and leveled up to use rather than to just left them in a dialogue talking for how many minutes about the same thing over and over again, which is not fun, and then giving us a little bit of resin to do dailies, which is the only way you can play the game and level up your character and stuff like that, and not give you any kind of end game apart from the spiral of risk, which is bad. But anyways, that's all I have to say. It's a quick video, and I just wanted to say that Genshin Impact is dead. Genshin Impact is going to die because with the release of Withering Waves, with the release of Azura Familiar, these two games are going to hit the market ridiculously, and they're covering up every aspect of the games. Like Genshin Impact has nothing to say that separates them from Azura Familiar are Withering Waves. They can say they're comeback oriented because Withering Waves is gonna take that and complete that better than they ever did. And Genshin Impact can say they're for the Kumers, for the cultured people, because Zero Familiar is gonna take that by miles. And it's gonna be casual too, so you can't Genshin Impact is not gonna have that for them either. And I think they're gonna be better access for playing the game more, if you get what I mean. Like overall content, they're gonna manage how you play the game much better than what is currently the state of Genshin Impact. So that's just all I have to say about the situation. Oh, most importantly, the contract that went out. I know there's a lot of talk about the contract that's going out, the leak contract about the Zenless Zone Zero stuff. I've heard from credible sources that it is true, and a contract like that is very bad for any content creator, really. And it's very scummy move, and that is how bad Hoyoverse is. Rather than actually going to the dev teams and actually make the changes that they know the game needs in order to keep their audience, they rather gatekeep the content creators and stuff. I'm talking about the games and not promote the games so that they can have their say. And that is a very scummy thing to do. And they want to do that for the content creators to do that for them free of charge, basically, because there's no such thing as paid in the contract whatsoever. But it is what it is. Guys, you can tell me what you think about this situation. I am making Genshin Impact series currently at the moment, so I am stuck with that for a while. But I will be playing Withering Waves. I will be playing Azure Premieria. I always play Honkai Star Rail. I love Honkai Star Rail. And I think Genshin Impact is going to be like an afterthought after next month or so, and I'll only be going back if there's a story quest or a campaign quest and stuff. Because what I'm doing right now is a month, and in that month I'll build my two teams that I'm building right now. And once I build that two teams, I'll have no reason to farm really. It is what it is. See you next time.